What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 27 of the Charge to the Top here with Hereford FC. And today I have you guys a live commentary against Fylde FC, or AFC Fylde. I've been calling them Fylde for my entire life. Is there a place called Fylde in England? I don't even know at this point, but Fylde is the team we are taking on. Last episode we played Wrexham and Lincoln. If you missed that episode, please go check that out. As always, it was an epic live com doubleheader, loads of action. Hopefully you who did watch it did enjoy. Since the last episode, it's not been great. I think that's the fairest way to assess it. You can see here I've updated my squad view, or not squad view, sorry, my fixture view a little bit. I've got to be honest, still not entirely sure if I'm a fan of it, but I feel like it's kind of useful for you guys to be able to see the goal scorers down the right here, and perhaps it helps to emphasise just how good Tshimanga has been for us. This guy, he joined us on a free. Lots of pressure on his shoulders. Let's update our biography stuff here. You can see, obviously, he played for MK Dons. He played a few games for them, but he's joined us. 10 goals in 10 games for him. Really can't fault him. Superb starts the season for him. Anyway, last episode we of course took on Lincoln and Wrexham. Since then, as you can see here, 6 games, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. Only one of the wins coming in the league, which is a little bit of a concern perhaps, but the first of these games that we had was against Southport, and as you can see, it was a 0-0. It was a boring game, loads of bookings. That was about as exciting as the game got. In truth, we weren't that great. I tried not to use subs in this game because I actually felt like we were close to breaking the deadlock. We actually had a few chances fairly late on in the game. Unfortunately, we didn't score, and when you don't score, you can't win. Simple as that, really. Anyway, following on from this, we did get a win. Unfortunately, the only league win we've had in this entire run of games. As you can see, 4-2 against Macclesfield, a good result, aided somewhat by the fact they did have a sending off. Norburn was given his marching orders, and from there, we were able to get 2 goals to get our noses in head and get a win there. We then took on Bristol Rovers, a team predicted to do very well this year, but they have been struggling, and in this game, as you can see, it finished 2-2. It was a very tight game. It was very 50-50, and, well, unfortunately for us, we couldn't quite break that deadlock. Anyway, the next game, a bolt out of the blue, perhaps the game out of all these results which will stick out the most, and it finished, as you can see here, 4-0 to Kettering. Now, the weird thing about this game really is that it was a very, very tight game. You can see here, looking at the clear-cut chances, we had 2. We also had 4 half chances. The issue we had really was they had 2 half chances and then scored with every other shot it felt like they took on our goal. There were a few howlers by our defence. Rafael Branco sent off in the second half. It was already 4-0 at the time, but he was actually sent off having scored, having it being disallowed for offside, and then he went and shouted at the official lot. And well, he got told off for that and was shown a red card and had an early bath. So, a game to forget, this one, I think it's fair to say. Anyway, the next game we had was against Southport. Obviously, we already played them in the league and we drew 0-0. This time, though, a 2-0 win. 2 late goals in 2 minutes for Tshimanga. Good win in the FA Cup. Good to see us going into the first round, where we are going to be taking on Walsall, who are going to be a pretty tricky team. They are in League One. They're a mid-table League One team. We've actually got a few players on loan from them. Or I say a few players. We've got 1 player on loan from them. Let's be real here. But yeah, a very good team. As you can see, Mark Brennan, actually a regen, considered their key player. He looks pretty good, I'm going to be honest. Has he been released? No, he's in on loan from Southampton. Okay, that makes sense. For a second, I thought Southampton had released him, which would be madness. But he looks very good, so we're going to have to be wary of him. And yeah, good to get to, I guess, the first knockout round of the FA Cup. I may do that game next episode. I'm not sure. It's only a few games away, and I don't think we're going to win it somehow. So maybe not. We'll see how things pan out. Anyway, the last game in this run of results, a 2-1 defeat against Barrow. Disappointing. Just really wasn't good enough, in truth. We were the better team. We had better chances. Should have taken them. We didn't. That was the defining factor in this game, unfortunately. So it was a second defeat in 2 league games, which has really seen us plummet down the table a little bit. And having been a title contender, certainly to start the season, and certainly even at the end of last episode, just an inability to get 3 points on the board has cost us dearly. As you can see right now, we sit in 4th. It's a very, very tight. Fylde, who we play today, on 31 points. They're 6 points ahead of us. So a defeat against them today is going to put us way off the pace, like scarily off the pace, and that is just not a situation I want to be in. I don't want to be 9 points behind the team top of the table after just 16 games. Looking behind us, though, the league is incredibly tight. Obviously, we're on 25 points. I mean, you look down the table, really, there is not a lot separating the top teams. There is 11 points between Stockport in 21st and ourselves in 4th. And kind of, if you just look at teams within 5 points of us, all the way down to 13th. Just a few more bad results, which is something that we have been seeing a little bit of, could see us, in a bit of trouble. So we need to get a win here if we can. It's not going to be easy. Fylde are actually unbeaten at the moment. It's going to be away from home against them as well. just to further compound our misery. As you can see here, 8 wins for them, 7 draws, so they're definitely there for the taking in terms of winning some points off them, so hopefully we can put in a good performance. In terms of a team as a whole, to be honest, as I said, the results have been pretty poor. The saving grace has been Shimanga's fantastic form. Looking at the team here, you can see a few players rested. We have been playing a lot of football as of late, so fitness perhaps a little bit of a concern. Obviously, I kind of look at the team as a whole. It's not in a terrible shape, but it could be better. I kind of look at what I considered my best 11 at the start of the season, and it has changed fairly drastically in that regard. Worth noting that Christy Davis currently out injured as well with a damaged foot, so that's another bit of a pain for us, really. In terms of our team for today's game, it's not a team that really picks itself. We have got a little bit of a problem, I've got to be honest, with Christy Davis. Kind of out when it comes to our centre midfield options. We've got good players and good options there, but no one's really performing in that role, and that's kind of a problem for us. Anyway, in terms of our team for today's game, I am going to play Keenan Bennett. I'm looking at this team as a whole. I'm fairly happy with it, but we do need to make sure we have space for Shimanga. I'm actually going to drop Ote, I think, out of the first team altogether, which is incredibly harsh, really. He's got 2 goals in 11 games. Oh, sorry, 1 goal in 11 games, which really isn't ideal. We have got Alex Fisher, who I think is going to start on the bench today, who's actually been fairly good, so he's certainly an option for us. But, well, given our kind of criteria when it comes to picking our subs, I just don't have space for Ote, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, really, but it's just kind of the reality of the situation. Anyway, in terms of our team for today's game, big game against Fylde. We're going to go with Russell Griffiths in goal. At left back, we go with, of course, Chris Owens. In the centre back positions, we go with Harry Lennon. Alongside him, we go with Rafael Branco, who returns after his suspension for that sending off that I already talked about. At right back, we have Vincent Day, a player who he started to perhaps show glimpses of brilliance, but at the same time, you kind of look at his average ratings here. They've been pretty poor, in all honesty. He got a 7.5 in the win against Southport in the Cup, but you can see overall average rating this season, 6.59. Just not good enough, really, for the right back. Hopefully, he can kick on and have a better second half of the season. I say that now in October. There's still a long way of the season yet to go. We're barely a third of the way through it. Anyway, at left midfield, we're going to go with Harry Anderson, a very good player for us this year. 4 goals and 5 assists in his last 15 games. His record was definitely better than that earlier on in the season. Looking for him to find some form, perhaps, for us out on the left-hand side. Anyway, at right midfield, we go with Keenan Bennett, a player who's been pretty good this year when we've called upon him. 2 goals, 4 assists, a 7.72 average rating in the league. You can't fault that, really. In the centre-mid positions for today's game, I'm going to stick with Oscar Goburn. He's a player who I still feel like has something about him to show. He just really hasn't shown a lot of it yet, but he's going to get the nod today in that centre-mid defence role. Alongside him, I'm going to go with Jason Roche here. He's a player who we've given very limited opportunities to, but he's actually a pretty good playmaker, as you can see here. Really the only weakness in his game, his composure. Released by Chelsea, he's a hot prospect. Do I want to give him the nod? Oh, I'm doubting myself now. You see, I could just bring in Ollie Banks. Oh, I don't want to doubt myself, but I'm beginning to think maybe I should change it. The other option is Danny Smith. Let's compare. Danny Smith, he's been at the club a while, of course. He was actually a player we signed from Haverhill. And I feel like, actually, I might be tempted to play him. If we just look at the player attributes here as an advanced playmaker, they're actually 2 very similar players in a lot of ways. I think I might give Danny Smith the nod. Who's had the better form? Danny Smith is on a 6.83, Roche on a 6.64. You know what, Danny Smith, go into the side. I'm not even going to have Roche on the bench, unfortunately, for him, because I feel like DR here and also Banks are 2 pretty good options kind of to have in the midfield. So, yeah, we're going to go with those 2 options as, you know, players on the bench for us. So, I think that's the team. Of course, just to recap and finally kind of cap off the team, we are going to be playing Stephen Payne up top. And alongside him, Shimanga, who, as I said, fantastic form. Hopefully he can score a few today. This is going to be a big game for us. It's going to be a tricky game for us. I feel like that call to kind of muddle around the centre midfielders last minute. Bit of a big one, but hopefully Evans can have... Danny Smith can have a good performance for us. As I said, he's a player who's been here a while. I feel like I brought attention to him when he first joined us from Haverhill. Last year he played 1 game in the Southern... 2 years ago he played 1 game in the Southern League. And then last season we sent him out on loan to Worcester, where actually he got 12 assists and 3 goals in 26 games. He had an injury whilst he was there, but he did develop quite nicely, the youngster. He's a consistent performer, so hopefully he can turn up big in today's big important game. Anyway, let's submit this. Playing that 4-4-2. Looking at it here, Branco considered our key man. Frankie Raymond for them. I don't know where I got third from. their keeper. He looks like a pretty good left back. Fylde, they're doing well. They're going very strong in the league, but I feel like we're capable of beating them here. I know they're unbeaten. I know we're in poor form. But I feel like our players, they've shown, certainly last episode, against the big teams in this division, we're actually capable of performing. And if we could cut out some of the scrappy results against smaller teams, we'd be okay. Unfortunately, our form of late really been less than ideal. So really, we're going to be looking at this game here as a prime opportunity to set the record straight. But perhaps our poor form, it makes this game a little bit harder for us to try and get something from as well. Lennon makes a good tackle. Tshimanga, he's got pace. It's a 2-on-2. Can he get a good ball into the box? He does. Unfortunately for us, Connor going to collect it for Fylde. But early on, good attacking intent. But, well, they're going to come forward with the ball. Smith, number 25. What a ball through by the youngster. Payne hits the woodwork. He should have scored. And, well, that was a fantastic ball there by Danny Smith. It was a big call to bring him into the side. He's just created a fine opportunity. Unfortunately, the shot smashed against the crossbar by Payne. A great opportunity for him. And, well, away from home against Fylde, that could be one of perhaps just a few chances we get to really score in this game. And I don't know, we've squandered a great chance there. Payne, he puts it wide. It's disappointing. But we need to kick on. We need to crack on here. 15 minutes gone. Looking at the stats, very tight. Fylde, they've got into the game certainly. We're edging possession, which is nice. I did notice my assistant told us maybe we shouldn't be playing shorter passing. That is something I am weighing up, perhaps changing out with our team instructions, is maybe ditching the shorter passing. In truth, our pass completion this year really hasn't been anything special, just as a team as a whole. So maybe trying to play this intricate passing game in a league with teams of similar, if not slightly better ability than us, is just not the smartest of decisions. But anyway, looking at the stats here, half an hour gone. Fylde, they've grown into the game. They've had a lot of chances, but they've not created anything too clear-cut or too threatening at our goal yet. 31 minutes gone. You will notice that perhaps the in-between replays highlights are playing slower. I actually slowed it down because I felt like the game was just a bit too fast for me trying to make subs, but actually it feels too slow now, so we're going to up the speed again. And, well, Goburn, what are you doing? Why? Every live com, do you just get booked or sent off or something stupid? You are going to have to be sold. I've given him so many chances. I've stuck with him as our centre mid on defend. But he just has this nasty streak in him and it's screwed us here. That's putting it lightly. I'd like to use slightly different language, but I'll refrain from doing it. Oh, you wazzock. Right. The question is, do I want to push Bennett and Anderson forward? I kind of do. I want to keep some attacking intent going, but we're probably going to have to play on the counter now. And that's going to involve more direct passing and faster speed, which is going to be tricky for us. So, playing a 4-4-1, kind of a 4-2-2-1, I guess. It's a bit of a weird shape, but, well, they've got a set piece here. Let's hope they don't score to further compound our misery. It goes over the crossbar. Part of me, perhaps is thinking perhaps I should be parking the bus here against Fylde, but at the same time, I mean, what is 1 point to us if what is 1 point to us? That's all it needs to be. I feel like a win is so much more valuable in this kind of game for us. A draw, I guess it's okay to stay within 1 point of them, and obviously we're not staying kind of on the all-out attack here. But at the same time, I do want to remain with some presence in the final third, despite the fact we're a man down. I'm going to tell the players they've been unlucky so far and also just kind of encourage them going into this second half. But, well, that's sending off by Goburn. It's not the first time he's been sent off either. That's kind of my biggest gripe with it. This is such a big game for us. Goburn, a player who, to be fair, been in and out of the first team this year. I've had my trust issues with him. I've got players like Banks. Obviously, we have players like Isaac Christie-Davis as well. Just fantastic kind of midfielders. I keep giving him chances because he looks like a fantastic player, but he's a liability. And, well, he's cost us again in this game here. It's currently 0-0 still, I guess, at least. That's the saving grace, isn't it, with just half an hour left in this game. But in truth, it's just not been a great performance for us. It's not been a great game as a whole. And, well, with 25 minutes left, it remains 0-0. Vincent Day, please don't get sent off as well. That's not what I need, another sending off. They're on the attack here. They've got men forward. Ed, loads of space, hits it. Griffiths, nice stop. He can't stop the rebound, though. Fylde probably grab a deserved lead in this game. I'm sorry, I'm just sighing. I'm just a bit fed up of seeing us throw away leads and also just have sendings off. It was a problem that we've had, to be honest, throughout this save, sendings off, particularly in live comms, oddly enough. Of course, we did have that odd run of 2 games in a row where we had 2 sendings off in live commentaries. That's kind of been behind us, but in this kind of game, just a massive tie against a team right up there in the division, a chance to really prove ourselves as being contenders. We've shot ourselves in the foot. We've really cost ourselves here. And I kind of look at our team now and you kind of feel like a goal down. Like, where's the chance going to come from, really? Shimanga's had a pretty poor game in the final third, so I'm actually going to take him off. I'm also going to bring on, I think, Fisher as a lone forward. He's quite good in the air, Fisher, which I think is going to be important now with the system that we've kind of got to play, unfortunately. But yeah, 25 minutes left in this game. I'm going to throw some men forward. We're going to go on the attack, of course. A point to us is worth infinitely more than perhaps the risk of ruining our goal difference a little bit. So I'm going to go for it. It's only 1-0. I mean, Fylde, they've been the better side. You kind of look at the stats as a whole. They've been the superior team, but we've had clear-cut chances. We've had half chances. I was worried when we missed that opportunity right at the start of the game. You know, it could be a chance we live to regret missing, and it kind of feels like that is going to be the case. We're currently down in 6th, which would see us finish outside the playoff spots. But the game isn't over yet. You know, there is only 1 goal in it, although that might not be for long. Fylde coming forward with it. Griffiths, another great stop for him. He made a fantastic save in the build-up to their goal as well. Unfortunately, just not really been bailed out by our strikers today, and it's been a little bit subpar by just the entire team. Anyway, Brett wins that well. Fisher, he's not particularly quick, the lone striker, and unfortunately doesn't do a very good job of holding up the play there. 7 minutes and counting now. I'm kind of just looking in the top left, hoping that time is going to slow down and that we're going to get another chance in this game. But as it ticks on and on, I mean, my hopes and dreams, they slowly start to fade. This has just been a complete write-off. It's not been a game we've turned up for at all. It's not been a particularly entertaining game by our standards. Usually there's goals galore. This time, it's just not good enough. I feel like Griffith's a little bit unfortunate in goal. I feel like the sending off by Goburn is just stupid. You know, 2 bookings in the space of 2 minutes. It's just inexcusable by any player. Looking at the fixtures we've got coming up, we've got Billericay, we've got Dover, we've got some pretty big games kind of on the not too distant horizon. In terms of when we'll be back, I did mention doing that FA Cup game. Part of me kind of wants to do it. Part of me feels like the FA Cup is not going to be a trophy we go on a massive run on in. I mean, Walsall, they are a team going very strong. My priority is very much the league, of course. So I don't think I'm going to live-com that. Maybe if it goes to a second round, or sorry, a replay, I'll do it. If we get to the second round, I'll definitely do it. But when you look at our form in the league, it's 3 defeats in a row. It's just not good enough, is it? Looking at the games we've got coming up, Billericay in 7th, Dover in 21st, Woking in 23rd, Hartlepool in 4th, Chester in 12th. Aldershot and Morecambe as well. We've got some tricky games in there, but a few easier games too. In terms of when we'll be back, not really sure. I think it'll be a middle-of-the-road game. Looking at the way the fixtures kind of play out, we have just a very tough run of games kind of towards the new year, where we're going to be playing a lot of the teams, I think, right up there in the table, the likes of Barrow, Fylde, or Fylde. Yeah, it's Fylde. I almost said Fidel, but that's wrong, as we've already established today. But yeah, not great. Of course, it's perhaps worth noting that one of the defeats we did have against Barrow last time out, 2-1, it finished, was actually against the team second in the league, so that wasn't quite so bad. But yeah, it's disappointing, I guess, to just drop outside the playoffs. We need to make sure we keep up with these teams. There's some very good teams here. It's going to be tricky for us, but hopefully we can really kick on, get some good results in some fairly easy games relative to perhaps some of the fixtures we've played as of late. And, well, whenever we're back for the next episode, things are looking a little bit more rosy. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up today's episode as always from me. If you have enjoyed, leave a like. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. And other than that, thank you so much for watching as always. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.